Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Everybody now. It's Wednesday, October 25th, 2023 AD, the Anno Domini, the year of our Lord, 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. What will we talk about today? We will talk about people being burned out. Noises. Being burned out. Maybe someday I'll have a guest who was from that field, the healthcare field, and the burnout is real. You know, they're understaffed, underpaid, and overworked or something like that. I don't know. And they made it worse. They shoot themselves in the foot. And disproportionately, they're women, it seems like. Raging. Trump is raging against his backstabbers, his turncoats. Or is he really? And mental health. Social media is bad for your mental health, guys. How many of my chat are mentally ill? Raise your hand. Press 1 if you're not mentally ill, if you're mentally healthy. Press 2 if you're mentally horrible. Press 3 if you don't know and you don't care. So that's pretty much what I'll talk about. We'll talk about some other things. David Pakman. I meant to play his clip yesterday talking about, Biden's better than Trump. He was handling the Hamas-Israel war situation better than Trump would. Biden, there would not be a Hamas-Israel war situation were Trump in office. He's a man of peace. Duh. That's why it happens when Biden's in office. Well, that's what I say. And your calls, guys. And I may share a little bit of information on the speaker fight. It's already old news. Yesterday's news is already old news. It's obsolete. That guy bowed out, the RINO, Soros-affiliated RINO. I don't know if he's Soros-affiliated. He already backed out. He already, there's 3 down. 3 nominees have bowed out or been kicked out from their nomination from this House Speaker. I'm glad that we don't have a speaker. Thank God for Matt Gaetz, right? That's less harm that Congress can inflict on America. Some beautiful music to share with you. It's OK Wednesday. Hey, I'm making up new names for these days of the week as we go. OK Wednesday. You know, I was playing OK every day. How about just Wednesdays? Maybe? And a beautiful Mary Rice Hopkins song as well. And your calls, guys. But anyway, everybody, let's get right on with the... By the way, pray for the persecuted patriots. Pray for them. I heard that Owen Schroyer, my competitor, is in jail for 60 days. Not as bad as Derek Chauvin and some of these other persecuted police officers, but pray for them. The show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. La la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing. What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today? Today. It's a children's song that I guess it's a children's song. I feel like my sister used to sing it. I shouldn't dox that I have a sister. What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today? I am wearing my Route 66 Santa Monica. Mother of St. Augustine, I heard from one of you guys who knows a lot more than I do. Isn't it interesting? Some of you guys know like way, way, way more than I do. But I'm the host. You do the math. That's because life is not always about math, but oftentimes. And it may have nothing to do with math. The fact that you guys know more than Hake. I think it's still amusing. You can still be an amusing host not knowing much. Okay, and it's brown, and it's 100% cotton, and I like it. Let me get to a call before we get started here, guys. I get started into, the topics that I brought for you. Brian, or brought for me, in North Carolina is on the line. Brian, thanks for calling and holding. What is up?
Nothing much, Hake. Thanks for having me, and thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
How you doing?
Doing fine.
Nice. Well, I'll try to be quick so you can get to your topics.
Oh, no worries, man. But yeah, sure.
I'm bringing up old stuff, though.
Right on.
But the caller yesterday brought up, he was, I think, trying to make an argument that most of the illegals that are coming over are mainly here to work.
Yeah. Who was that? Was that Charles or something like that from
Well, I can't think of his name.
Yeah. But anyway, some guy, black guy from New Jersey, Boomer, Chuck from New Jersey, says Sean.
Yeah.
Wow, Sean knows my show better than I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean.
That's, what, that's not old information. I mean, this is not an old topic. It's a great topic. It's evergreen, unfortunately, because
it's juicy.
Well, the immigrant situation has been an ongoing issue for decades and to this day, so it's not something old that we shouldn't talk about.
Okay, I appreciate it. Well,
yeah, of course.
He was making a case saying that, most of them are here to work, and I just don't think that's true. I mean, if they were here to work, they wouldn't be getting handouts. People that come to work aren't looking for a handout, for one. And in my opinion, if they were really coming here to work, I feel like they should come here as slaves,
Whoa, I disavow that. Even though I'm the one who's like pro-slavery.
Well, I'm just saying.
They kind of are, because money is worth less and less. And in slavery, you get free room and board. And some of them are, I don't know. It's, I think, continue.
They're not just getting free room and board. They're getting benefits that are supposed to be for Americans.
Yeah. And they're getting
really,
edu-mamification. Their children are getting educated, so-called, if you want to call it an education, what we have nowadays.
Well, that's why I said they should be slaves, James, is because we're pretty much slaves. We're paying the taxes are paying for all of this education, right? And what are they being
supposedly? I don't think
on?
the taxes are even really paying for it. I think we're on credit now. We're in the red, right? If you think about it.
That.
But yeah, in a sense, I get what you're saying. We are paying for it, and JLP talks about how the blacks are paying for it or suffering the most from it because the blacks are the most vulnerable population, which is kind of their own fault, really. But, or not kind of, it's their own fault, really. But they are the ones most reliant on the public so-called education. And then they're having to deal with these black and brown fighting in their own classrooms, dealing with these ESL, English as a second language students. The schools don't care, though, because that's more heads. I saw Kevin Howe make a chat yesterday saying the immigrants are just bodies. The immigrants, meaning illegals and legal, so-called legals, they're just bodies. It's just a head. And a head means money for the school.
I don't think it means that anymore. I think a head means power and taking over because, I mean, like you said, they're teaching that stuff in the school system. They're giving them this education, but it's not proper education. It's not correct education.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think it's education that is meant to divide, to make them pick a side, and the side that is against. Right now, all the sides are against one main side, which is the white man, the white side,
yeah.
or the Christian side. Period. I mean, Christianity is now quote unquote a white man's religion, but that's besides the point. I just don't think that it's not. I'm not even gonna say I don't think. I know for a fact that most people are coming here are not just coming here to work.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. They want to say that we have this issue of work, like we don't have people can't fill jobs. That's totally not the case, man. I've watched the issue. The issue at work is that you got the wrong people in the right places. Just like Jesse says, it's literally that. It's that way throughout everything right now.
Yeah.
The wrong people are in the right places, so the people who are there working, I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess for any decent person right now that wants to show up to work and work, really.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Just
right.
work.
And like I said, yesterday, if we got rid of this Obamacare funded and subsidized condoms and birth control and abortion and all that stuff, we would have that much more population, young people, to work. And if we got rid of minimum wage and welfare and unemployment, we would have people who would have no choice but to do those jobs that they supposedly normal, spoiled Americans don't want to do, you know? There are many, JLP had some of the Bond guys, blacks, back in the day. He's told the story that some of the black guys affiliated with Bond back in the day would go to like do some day labor stuff, but they would pick the Mexicans over the blacks. And you kind of can't blame them. But that's what happens. They pick the foreigners who are just doing it cheaply. That's what they're used to, or they don't speak English. They're easier to screw over, or they.
I think there's a bunch of reasons, you know.
Yeah, many.
And the other reason is like now Hispanics and Mexican people, they're becoming the new blacks.
Yeah.
It's like getting harder for employers to deal with a Hispanic employee.
Oh yeah.
You know, you can't even.
They'll cry
They could be
racism.
right. They could be
That
stealing
attitude.
from you, and you can't reprimand them for that. You know.
Yeah. True.
So what is it?
And they
that,
do
that
steal,
corrupts
many
the
of them.
whole. I have a job, and they tried to crack down on people scrapping. You know about scrapping,
Which is basically stealing, basically.
if it's not allowed, right? But it's at this job they allowed it up to a point. So they didn't mind if we scrapped. It kind of helped them out because it keeps all the equipment from piling up on the property.
Oh, okay.
But then they decide, okay, we want to cut that out because we want to weed some guys out, if you will. So they say, all right, we're gonna cut the scrap. Nobody else is allowed to scrap. If you're caught scrapping, you will be dealt with.
Yeah.
Well, they catch these guys scrapping, and then they do nothing about it.
Oh,
It's like-
wow.
It's like, what's going on here? It's like, who's in position to put that hammer down? Because it's not happening. And then now what do you have? It reminds me so much of them wanting to take away guns.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, yeah, we're going to take away guns. So, turn them in. It's like, all right, well, the bad guys who enjoy doing that and who would do that
Right.
or whatever, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So what about us,
Oh, they'll steal your gun and then turn it in for money.
Right. It's
No
the same
questions
thing,
asked,
man.
right? Yeah. So corrupt.
But
There's also the issue of the quality of work nowadays. They talk about Chinese cabinets, which are cheap and low quality, and they cut corners. There's also
Yep.
such a thing as so-called Mexican job, which is they do a Mickey Mouse type work where it's
What does that mean?
Mickey Mouse in the sense that, they just make it look right, even though it's not right.
James, you're so right. I see that every day.
Yeah.
Every day I see that. And I'm like,
Some
man,
of them
how is this?
Some of them have
How
pride and do quality work, but very few
You
compared to
can't
the
say
most.
some. You can't say some, James. You say one of them.
There was one guy that I knew. Exactly.
There's one.
Yeah.
Everybody knows one. That's
Yep.
it. The rest of them, you're like, what the heck? Who brought you here?
Right.
It's just a mess, man.
Yeah.
So they're not. But to sum it all up, they're not coming here to just work, and whether they know it or not, they're really coming here to take over.
Yeah, to subvert the population and be loyal, lol,
Lol.
to loyal Democrats, or it's
Yeah.
not just a Democrat thing. It's money, it's power, it's corruption, it's fake mama feel good. Oh, we're
Yep.
a nation of immigrants. It's so many things. It's power. It's a mess.
Yeah.
And they're
The way you
being
said
used,
loyal-
and they're useful idiots, and then they have their own lives and reasons for the stuff that they do. And it's funny because the whites and blacks, we know and are friends with these people who've come in over the decades. And so, like, the ends justify the means. Just because I'm friends with these people and, my life would be so different were they not here, doesn't mean that it was right that they came in here in the first place, And it's not, and it doesn't mean that that right is no longer right and wrong is no longer wrong. So, it's a mess.
It's never personal.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Never personal.
I know, it's kind of like interracial dating and how many people don't agree with it, and I have reservations and criticisms about it. And then people get all personal. Oh, so you're saying I shouldn't exist, these mixed race people? No, that's not what I'm saying. It's but anyway.
Like, that's not, well, you're not saying that they should cease to exist, but you shouldn't be doing that.
Right. People
that's definitely not.
People jump to false conclusions about what you're saying.
James, you know what's crazy? So when I see an interracial couple, or when I see like a quote unquote family where it's like a quote unquote stepfather or stepmother,
yeah,
I could totally see now how that's Satan's imitation of marriage or family.
Oh.
Right? It's so out of order, man. It's completely out of order. For you for example, right?
Uh-huh.
You grew up with 5 brothers and sisters, right?
Yeah. Well, including myself.
So did I.
Yeah.
Right. So did I. But none of us are related. Me and my brothers don't have the same father. The other 2 kids, they had a different father. It was a complete mess. But my family would run around and try to claim that this is family. This is my stepfather, and
that's
so
funny.
on and so forth. And it was just all an imitation.
Wow.
It's just a lie.
Yep. Interesting, man.
Yeah.
Imitation of the real thing. And people think that's what the LGBT thing is. Oh, love is love. And there's so much where Satan imitates true values and morality and things, or morals, I should just call it morals, and twists it in a way where it doesn't apply. Women will do that a lot. They'll take something, oh, we need to get rid of ego. Oh, let's just mock each other and just artificially kill the ego, which is doing nothing. It's just playing God. It's wild.
That's what it all comes down to, playing God.
Yeah. Interesting, man.
Yeah. Hey, it's funny listening to Jesse try to say loyal.
Yeah.
I watched him sound it out the other day. He went loyal, and then he tried to say it real fast. He's like loyal.
Yep.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Nice.
It cracks me up. But that's all I got. Hey,
great call, Brian. Appreciate you, man. Take care.
You as well.
All right. William in California is on the line here. I don't think I got to William yesterday. William, thanks for calling back, man. I think I abused you. Was it yesterday I had all those calls and I didn't get to you or Frederick? Terrible.
I ain't tripping on that, man. It's cool, man. You only got me so much time.
True.
But I don't take that personal. It's all good.
Yep.
I sent you something. There's something going on up in Oregon. The Board of Education just dropped the basic requirements to graduate from high school. And remember, I called you on my birthday and told you that all these degrees and diplomas are not worth anything right now.
Yeah.
So they dropped the requirements for the minority students to graduate. So they're just lowering the standards.
Yep.
Bit by bit.
Yeah.
And,
so true.
Yeah. I've seen something yesterday on YouTube. It was a news station where it was black girl, white guy, and they were talking about the Middle East and Israeli situation. And she went off and started spewing a lot of lies about this hospital that was it was actually just a rocket that accidentally went off in the parking lot. It wasn't any damage like they said. It was
the Hamas situation, the Hamas Baptist Hospital, Christian Hospital in Palestine, and they wanted to blame Israel when you can blame Israel for certain things. I'm sure I'm sure that there are
Nobody's
individuals and maybe even groups who are doing evil things there.
Nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
But
Come on.
This dude unloaded on this sister. He said, "I don't give a F what you think." I'm like, oh, he won't be back.
Wow.
He just lost his job, but he threw his true feelings out there. Like you were talking about these Chinese products. You know, I'm in the racing. You can bet that there's nobody at these tracks using those Chinese tools, because I'm going to tell you something. I was talking to Red Dirt Farm about this. Those tools are not exact like American-made tools. You will bust your knuckles with these Chinese-made tools.
Terrible. Yeah,
Well, they don't.
No Harbor Freight tools on the NASCAR field. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know,
Harbor
man.
Freight-
They're not going to use too much cheap stuff on race cars, and
Yeah.
they're not going to definitely use anything that's going to bust their knuckles and don't fit correctly. So, I mean, you know what mechanics are doing in their own business. They're staying away from that stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You know, and you got Gavin. He's in China right now. I think he's out there. He's up there sucking up. They're all in bed. But, you know, I called last Monday about some of these things about this Middle East thing, and then I was like waiting for a response, but all I got was a bunch of callers calling in, this tit-for-tat game that your trolls play, and talking about these cases with Donald Trump. Anybody said,
Oh, yeah.
who cares? Don't even nobody even follow that stuff. Ain't nothing going to happen to Donald Trump with that crazy madness.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It's interesting how they. But
Do
it's
you
interesting.
even
It
follow
got,
that? I don't
it got
even
a bunch
follow
of
that.
calls.
Do you follow that, James? I don't follow that stuff, man. Ain't nothing going to happen to him.
Only the CNN and the Skim updates on the situation. I follow it a little bit more closely than the speaker fight, which I don't follow that very closely at all either. But you're right. I don't care.
I'm looking at the ratings, man. There ain't nobody following that stuff, but trolls that call and, well, what about it? Ain't nobody even following that stuff with people that's wishing for him to die, just basically.
Yeah, they hate him.
They hate him. How do you? I don't understand it. It's like you hate somebody who had you working more than you ever have since slavery.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You heard what he said during the State of the Union that year. He said African Americans
Yeah.
working more than they ever have, lowest unemployment in history.
Yep.
Since slavery. See, when they were, us blacks were slaves, we didn't have any unemployment.
Yeah.
We were working because we were property and we had to work. But
Yep.
that is not anything for somebody my age to be sitting there tripping on. But you should kind of take a look at the fact that you had somebody in office that had your gas at $2.50.
Yeah. Right. People who are clear-minded, not educated people, so-called educated people, but people who are clear-minded and fair-minded at all, they see the value in Trump's presidency over what we have, what we've been having.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because the unemployment in the black community has always been pretty high.
Yeah.
He knocked it down.
You know what? It used to be better than they used to be more employed than white young people. I thought I heard that.
Let me tell you,
decades ago.
across the board, blacks, not African Americans, blacks were more likely to have two-parent homes than their counterpart white people.
Yeah.
Blacks were employed.
Yep.
With jobs
At a
they
young age.
retired from.
Yep.
Yeah. So why would you hate somebody that's improving your community? I don't understand that, but you are quickly being replaced by illegals.
Yeah.
And
True.
they're taking those resources that you should be getting. I don't see why they don't see this. They're taking your resources.
And shout out to the illegals.
Well, okay, well, whatever on that one. But the thing,
Don't you know some illegals that you'd like to share? Well, never mind. We don't want to.
see them. I mean, the community we have, they got them as gardeners and everything.
I've had illegals call into my show. I think I've had illegals come to church.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone to school with them, and anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It's just like they used to say about the blacks. They're everywhere.
Yep.
They might be cousins.
Yeah.
But, shout out to everybody that's Real Men, Point Fire, Raymond 11, Red Dirt Farm, Blazing Hogs, Lord Grimm, I see you.
Oh, really? Wow. Hey,
I talked to Lord Grimm, and he threw me on a live podcast, a private one.
Right on.
Because I value my privacy, because they say once it's gone.
Nice. Yeah,
it's gone forever. So, Lord Grimm and all these guys, man, these guys are standing up, man. They're just standing up. And you got these trolls sitting around getting mad at men that stand up. Now, the situation with this education, I am definitely watching the education, these degrees and diplomas, they're slowly declining in value.
Yeah.
Is that wait a minute, is that a doo-doo brown shirt you got on?
It is. It's funny that you mentioned that. There's another black guy who graduated. I graduated him. But he called it that too. He called it number 2 brown.
Yeah, it's dookie. It's
dookie. But I love the color. I think it looks good on me.
You know who likes to who really loves to wear brown suits? I mean, it kills me when I see somebody with a brown suit, but sometimes it looks good on certain people.
Yep.
Wayne Brady is the brown suit king.
You mentioned him before, and he's the guy who used to be on Whose Line Is It Anyway? That one with that Drew Carey guy, the fat white guy. And so Wayne Brady is black, and he turned out to be overly colorful in a not exactly morally straight, I think, way. But he's a talented sort of comedian sort of a guy, right? And he sometimes wears brown suits.
Yeah, he's very talented. I think he had some depression, though.
Oh, okay. What a shame.
Some depression kicked in. I think he might be getting a little better with it. I think he's probably seeked a little bit of help and everything. If you notice, you don't see him that much anymore.
Okay. Yeah, he's 6 foot, and he's 51 years old. Why am I saying his height? But he has a kid. He used to be married to a couple of different ladies over the years, from the 90s, early, mid-2000s. Man, what a mess. Brown
David Ocala. Hey, David in Ocala, Florida. Thank you. Prayers out to you. And anytime you come to California, we'll go out to see the big Maverick surfing contest or something, and we can get out there and do it, man. I'm not getting out there, but I can tell you we can sit up there and watch these 50-foot waves and these guys out there doing their thing. David in Ocala, I'm always with you, bro. I understand you. You understand me. And same with the real men. We just all understand each other.
Okay. Nice.
We respect each other. Real men respect each other. So, shout out to the ladies. Shout out to the ladies.
Right on.
Okay.
Thank you, William. Appreciate you.
You take care.
All right. You as well. Somebody asked about Wayne Brady, and actually Joel Friday says, I'm late listening on the stream, but Brown compliments us red-toned, gingered folks. LOL. Lots of laughs. Hat tip to that one guy, that one Irishman. Hey, shout out to the Irish. I think Colin Flaherty is Irish, right? Or was? Now he's dead, so he's a spirit, not Irish anymore. He is looking down on us from heaven, perhaps, hopefully. And he said lots of laughs instead of laughing out loud. But yeah, Joel Friday, if you want to picture what William from California looks like, he looks just like Joel Friday, except a little older, according to him. He's not fat, Maze. By the way, Wayne Alfonso Brady, who also wears brown like Hake does, and he's black. Okay, I don't really enjoy reporting this. I disavow it. But according to SCPSASSEM, he talked about his identity back in September, or early September, or late August, as a so-called pansexual. Pansexual. Okay? Pansexual. Terrible. Don't do that, Wayne Brady. You're 51 years old. But he can't help it, He's been in the showbiz. Those people are messed up in that way, and they're in that world where they think that that's normal and right. So, well, we wish you well.
Wayne Brady. Y'all been to Death Valley lately, guys? Death Valley, I have pictures of Death Valley is underwater. Not underwater, but it has like about inches of water on the lowest part of Death Valley, which is below sea level, by the way. It's in California. I've been to Death Valley. I remember reading or hearing about Death Valley. Look at that beautiful picture. Commie Nonsense Network CNN reports the driest place in North America has sprung to life with lakes and flowers after Hurricane Hilary with one L. Remember, I was about to say yesterday, last month or 2 months ago or something, we showed those blacks diving in the flood water in the middle of the street and doing flips and putting their head underneath the water, and you're not supposed to do that with flood water because it potentially has disease and debris and stuff that can cut you and give you bacteria and stuff like that. Look at this beautiful, well, that's a shallow lake. Driest place in North Carolina. Early bloom they're getting. Hurricane Hilary. I mean, Hurricane Hilary was just rain when it hit us. You meaning SoCal. I didn't know that the Pacific Ocean on our side of it anyway had hurricanes, but apparently we had a hurricane. I thought it was only the Atlantic, seemingly. In my lifetime that I've recall hearing about, I don't pay that much attention. Beautiful scenery, though, huh? You just see the mountains above and then the reflection of the mountains below on this placid, is placid a proper word for this? Little lake with little cute ducky and person. Well, the person's not cute. I'm not saying that, but the duck. A bird floats. Oh, maybe it's not a duck. A bird floats. A duck is a bird. Near a person at the sprawling temporary lake at Badwater Basin, Salt Flats, October 21st, 2023, in Death Valley National Park, California. This doesn't look so pretty. So the next one. Oh yeah, the road is all broken apart, and work trucks. Well, that's it looks still very beautiful. I like the desert. The desert's beautiful, man. It's awesome. Dry. Chaparral. I don't know what chaparral is. Brush. Orange cones. Road work. Broken up street. Asphalt. Whatever. Workers in hats. And that lime green catches your eye reflective vest. The parched desert soil couldn't absorb the excessive rainfall fast enough. Triggered flash flooding. The torrent of water washed away trails and much of everything else in its path. Every road in the park was damaged, one guy told Commie Nonsense Network. We still have a lot of work ahead of us. Okay, the next one, another beautiful picture of the shallow water with tourists taking pictures. Excess water also sent wildflowers into early bloom in a remote area of the park, difficult for most visitors to access, according to this person, Wines, who is talking to the media. Never talk to the media or police, according to people who know better than Hake. The most impressive result of Hilary's wrath. See, the storms are supposed to be named after women, like Hilary with one L. Can be seen in person to this day. The only question is for how long. Badwater Basin, lowest part in North America, home to a temporary lake several miles long, according to the National Park Service. Badwater sits about 282 feet below sea level. Go to the next one there, Hassan. There's this woman, and you see her walking, and it looks like she's walking in the mud, but it's watery mud. That's about what a lake is for them. It's watery mud. We call it a lake. Badwater Basin sits 282 feet below sea level. It's a dry bed, basically, but not so dry right now. No surprise, flood water pooled here. 282 feet below sea level. Wow. True surprise is the water's staying power. Nearly 2 months after the historic floods, water remains trapped. A lot of rain from Hilary. Take a while for that water to evaporate, even in the desert. It gets cool down there now. It's cooler times. I've told you guys about how I like to go to Vegas because an hour past Vegas which is also desert, in Arizona is Willow Beach. You go down into the canyon along the Colorado River. Willow Beach in the summer, it gets to like 115 degrees, but it's a dry heat. It's not all humid like the South, or Texas, or anywhere else in the world other than California and I guess desert Arizona. 115, 110, oof. But nowadays it's like 90, 80, even 70s. Topping out in the 80s right now, I guess. Or is it gets into November? Anyway, I guess, is this interesting to you guys? I think the pictures are cool. Record-shattering heat of summer. But temperatures in Death Valley drop. I feel like I went to Death Valley when it was cooler for a natural history trip with one of the community colleges. I went with a buddy of mine. You go camping, catch snakes, and take pictures. It's cool. So that's that. Anyway, let's get to some more interesting news, perhaps. Trump raging? Sounds like fake news to me. This is about the Trump turncoats. This is a CNN headline. Trump turncoats is the folder. Trump rages as his acolytes, former acolytes, turn against him under legal heat. Legal with an asterisk, right? CNN Politics analysis by one Stephen Collinson, whoever that is, out today. Not the strongest of people turning on him. And this has a picture of I guess it's a thumbnail for a video in which Chris Christie, I'm not going to play it for you. Chris Christie, you know, the fat rhino, former governor from New Jersey. I heard New Jersey's doing well, according to a liberal caller of mine. Fat rhino Chris Christie. I somewhat like him, but he's on an anti-Trump kick that just doesn't seem genuine. It doesn't really ring true to me anyway. I like him because he seems more real than other politicians, but not compared to Trump. Trump, real. Chris Christie, fake. And then on the right, there's this fellow named Mark Meadows, who I know Mark Meadows somewhat as a, like, Christian, nice, probably a rhino, conservative guy. Well, Mark Meadows, I don't think of him as very tough, but he was the chief of staff or something under Trump. And Trump said, oh, he's going to be a James Baker, whoever that is. James Baker, a solid person or something like that. A solid guy. And Mark Meadows probably played like he was solid. You know, Trump speaking well of people. Trump speaks well of people when he's hiring them, right? Chris Christie told Wolf Blitzer on Commie Nonsense Network, okay, that Mark Meadows is testifying that Trump knew that he was lying about the 2020 election since day one. Yeah, right, I say. Trump believes what he says. He quite clearly believes what he says. Or am I wrong? I don't know. And then Jenna Ellis. Mildly attractive. I don't have a picture of her, I don't think. But she was a lawyer gal who was pushing, you know, the 2020 election shenanigans thing on behalf of Trump. She, according to this CNN article by this guy, analysis, tearfully confessed to saying that she knew and helped Trump lie and Trump was lying and, oh, had I known that it was going to be like this, I never would have joined Trump's legal team. Well, you're in trouble and you're a woman. I don't trust you, lady. Jenna Ellis. Whatever she did, women. And she's young, relatively speaking. Here's an interesting opening paragraph to this. Donald Trump's wealth, power, and fame acted like a magnet for new associates keen to enter his orbit, analyzes Stephen Collinson of this, who wrote this article. Isn't that interesting? That's not what attracts me to President Trump's orbit, and I'm not really in Trump's orbit, but that's not why I appreciate Trump. He was wealthy and powerful and what else? And famous long before I didn't like him. I didn't like towheads. He was, you know, towheads, they're blonde, blonder than their skin. It's not exactly. I did not like Trump's look or anything else. But he started telling the truth and standing on it and just being normal and real. And I liked that. And he's continued to be that way. There's just that realness. But now, key figures who sought... The opening paragraph of this article continues. But now, key figures, who sought a share of his reflected glory, writes this person, are turning against him to save themselves. And I say, very disloyal, right? That's how I read these rhinos turning on Trump. They're not with him out of truth and principle. They're with him out of politics. He won, so we have to go with the winner. You can't beat him, join him. That's what their thing was. And ego, of course. They were with him out of ego and politics. Isn't that true? Were you with Trump out of ego and politics, and now you turn on him? Because he's not based on the IQ, the Israel question. Or whatever, you know, the VQ, the vax question. I don't know. Key figures, blah, 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 blah. I mentioned that already. Same with the hatred of Trump. They don't hate him out of truth or principle. They hate him out of politics and ego. Do I have any pictures of Sidney Powell? I don't think I do. These Sidney Powell simps. Oh, Sidney Powell pleaded guilty to misdemeanors. She was charged with felonies, but they pleaded guilty to misdemeanors, meaning they way overcharged her. Just like they do all the whites, including white Hispanics like George Zimmerman. These Sidney Powell simps, I call them simps, these callers, like Kentucky John and Phoenix Joe. You really think that Sidney Powell can hurt Trump with her testimony? She wasn't ever close to Trump. I don't think. It's funny how even conservatives think that the Sidney Powell situation, Trump said she was never my attorney. That Trump lied about Sidney Powell. That she wasn't ever his attorney, his lawyer. Just because they saw her and he tweeted about her doesn't mean that she was his lawyer. I guess the mind plays tricks on you, huh? Michael Cohen, I have pictures of him, though. The rat. Michael Cohen posts... Michael Cohen 212. I don't know if this is his real account. Maybe it is. He's not a blue check on X or Twitter, so I don't know if he's real. Shout out to Elon Musk. I love that you destroyed the blue check. I will continue to speak and remade it in your image, which is awesome. I will continue to speak truth to power, says Michael Cohen allegedly. No matter Donald's continued smear and harassment campaign against me. Hashtag Team Cohen. Okay, so Michael Cohen's team, I guess, posted this on X, formerly known as Twitter, 2 days ago. And they share a screenshot of him on MSNBC. Oh, Lord. And his last name is Cohen. Does that mean he's not a Christian? Is any man named Cohen Christian? Maybe. But he once said he would take a bullet for Trump. Reminds me of that lady at the end of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today, her answer to the biblical question. Older lady, dignified lady, said all these people who talk about loyalty. Trump talks about loyalty, but I think he really is loyal. But this guy said, oh, I would take a bullet for him. Apparently you wouldn't take a guilty conviction for him without turning on him. This guy, this fat rat, Michael Cohen, Trump calls him a rat. It's not meant to be dehumanizing language. Sidney Powell was on Alex Jones a lot around that time, says Mr. Pink. Wow, interesting. Yeah, and I always liked Sidney Powell, and to this day, I think I like her. I'm not sure if she's going to be disloyal to Trump or not. Just because she's agreeing to testify, quote unquote, against him doesn't mean she's going to do wrong. Maybe she will, though. And maybe she is more nutty than I realized. Because, you know, getting all into this stuff can make you nutty. You know. There were replies. It is better to be hated for telling the truth than to be loved for telling lies, is a reply from Renegade Cowboy in the to this tweet. Is a reply to this tweet there, Hassan, just real quick. Emphasize truth, posted in reply to him. I appreciate your turnaround. I'm certain it was both scary and very difficult. Kudos. It's funny. It's a backwards world people live in, huh? Trump is fickle. America first. AF, America first, says, come on, man. Just because he's fickle, I mean, I don't know. He's fickle for the truth. Fickle, you mean he's unpredictable. Anyway, I think that's about it. Trump raging. Is he really raging? I don't know. Whatever. I think it's projection. They're raging against Trump, these people, the mainstream media and the liberals and even some of you guys. Shout out to you guys. And them. All right. You know who else is raging? David Pakman. He's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show a couple of times. One time too many. I brought him on again one time, and JLP kicked him off right away because he wasn't answering questions. JLP asked him, David Pakman. I don't think he's a Christian. I think he's atheist. I don't even think he was raised Christian. I think he's like Argentine and maybe part Cuban, or am I thinking Destiny's part Cuban? And part like Jewish, I think. David Pakman. Living with his girlfriend, I think. Having a baby out of wedlock. Because he doesn't believe in marriage, because, you know, the young whippersnappers don't. By the way, he's relatively short. I took a picture with him when he came on The Fallen State with JLP. A sleazy snake of a guy, just evil. But anyway, clip 21, David Pakman show. I've been meaning to play this since, yesterday. He posted, or his show producers, I guess, posted this short, or a little clip, vertical. Joe Biden is handling, within capital H, the Israel-Hamas war much better than Trump would have. Hashtag David Pakman. So check this out and see if you're convinced that Joe Biden, more capable of a leader on the world stage than Trump. Here it is.
Was shut off. I was against that. It's back on thanks to Joe Biden. Reminds us of the importance of who we elect president. Do you believe that Trump would have pressured Israel to turn the Gazan water back on? No. Reminds us of the importance of who we elect here. There was this 24-hour warning given to Gazans to leave. Of course, leave to go where? They can go south, but obviously Egypt doesn't want them crossing the border either. So it was a pretty wild situation. However, the 24 hours went by. As of this moment, there has not been this massive ground assault, which is good, because I would be against that. But hundreds of thousands of Palestinians did move south, even though Hamas, completely disregarding their safety, said simply stay.
Whoa. Hamas said, that's psychological warfare. Israel's not going to invade. And Israel hasn't invaded, so maybe Hamas was telling a little bit of the truth. I don't know. Interesting. But he's all feeling sorry for the Hamas people. Hake's hair is better. It says Greenwald. Well, that's kind of you, man. I appreciate that. I am not my hair. I am not my body. This guy's a clown, says, come on, man. This guy, laughing face sideways with tears coming out emoji, says, nada. I say that were Trump there in office, this would not have happened. He would have said, let's make a deal. Because Trump is about mutual benefit. That's what Christian capitalism is about, mutual benefit. Commie capitalism is about leave you worse off and I get money or whatever. Bribe you or tempt you with unchristian temptations. Commie capitalism, I call it. You know, the pornography and all that stuff. Let's make money off of the people going to the pornography websites by putting these ads or something. I'm assuming that that's how it's free with the advertising. David Pakman hates humanity. Yeah, he is an emotional mama spirit person. I didn't finish the story about him getting kicked off the show. I was producer at that time, and JLP asked him, I think he was on Newsmax at that time, 2017. You call yourself a progressive. Is it progressive to be funding the transgender transitions in the military? Is that progressive? And in the prisons or whatever? I don't know what exactly JLP asked, but it was along those lines, I think. And then so David Pakman didn't answer. He sidestepped the question and then asked, would you call yourself a fiscal conservative, Jesse? Would you call yourself a fiscal conservative? And Jesse repeated his question, and he wouldn't answer. And then he said, get this idiot off my show. He brought me in and asked me what possessed me to bring that guy back on the show. Nice. Yeah, he doesn't answer questions. Wants to change his subject and play a gotcha on fiscal conservatism. I guess he would have argued that it's more fiscally conservative to transgender these transgenders, so-called, of them, and that saves money or something. I don't know. What happened with Newsmax anyway? Yeah, at the end of the year, they didn't renew. And it's better. We have fewer restrictions. We got, it was fun while it lasted, and now we're on YouTube, and we appreciate YouTube, and we're on Rumble, and we appreciate Rumble. And the D-Live crew, the faithful redheaded stepchildren whom we abuse by way of neglect. By we, I mean I. A shout out to you guys. And Kick and Twitch. Well, JLP doesn't stream his show on Twitch because he got suspended after Big Bear was at the men's conference one year. But I digress a bit too much, don't I? We're approaching the top of the hour, and I have some things to get to, this social media mental health. So let me just double check for some super chats. Let me get to those before the top of the hour here. Over on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. Amazing Asia, now a member. Wow, thanks, Amazing Asia. Thanks for the birthday wishes the other day. I really appreciated it. Nice. While watching The Fallen State, I was so shocked to learn that you used to be a shy beta male. Oh, really? I have newfound appreciation for your personality. Oh, thanks. So I've lowered your expectations based. That's what I like to do. Expectations management. No, I thought you were always an A-word, $ hole. But to learn that you had to find your voice helps everything make sense. Awesome interview. Keep going. Strong arm emoji. Well, thank you, Amazing Asia. That's cool. I probably always was. It's just you had to coax get past the fake shyness stage to find out that I was really an A-word, $ hole. That's funny. Thank you. This graduate bought a coffee. How I love being summoned. Good morning, James. Did you like my shout out to you yesterday on Joel? Are you excited for your official birthday on Tuesday? Tuesday? Oh, the Halloween. That's funny. It's a Christian holiday originally, I guess. Horrible. Or the Christians annexed that holiday from the the Druids or the pagans, right? We turned the pagans Christian, or, the Jewish Christians turned the white pagans Christian. And now the white pagans they conquered the world we colonized the world and made it awesome and made it better for everyone. And now everybody's turning on us because we're on the decline morally. What a shame. Horrible calls, by the way, from Proud Boy Brian and Sambo William. I shouldn't say that. It sounds racist. Of course, he's a fan who insulted that shirt, just like you. Why have enemies when you can just have fans? Speaking of which, why are you trying to be sponsored by Charmin? Charmin? Oh, 'cause Charmin is TP. Anyways, isn't being a podcaster part of the entertainment industry? Careful, that's how rumors get started. Bye, James. 4 eye roll emojis. Well, I was amused. Let's get to some music, guys. It's OK Wednesday. And that means let's listen to this track, the first track of the 2009, I guess, or 8 or something, album Huggable Dust. The opening track is entitled My. You know the word spelled M-Y? My, by OK. Marty Anderson. He has or had Crohn's disease and some issue that made his voice weak. Okay, so that's why his voice is like that. Well, enjoy, guys, you musical Philistines. I'll be right back for hour 2. Bro, this is complete nonsense you were saying. I was reading a super chat. Sorry, Nugget Man. I kind of had a feeling that some of you guys weren't following it. Hake really won't say toilet paper? My by OK. Enjoy. This is a man's voice, not a female's. Sounds like a lame Sounds like one of those lame love songs lyrically, but this music has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Says the man who liked Steve Taylor, yesterday. Singer sounds like Joe from Arizona. This music is assisted death. This sounds pretty good, says Mr. Pink. Thank you, man. I knew that some of you guys had my type of taste. One thing I learned about this guy, says Life Enjoyer. What's up, man? Shout out to the Cozy crew, which I'm not on Cozy at this point. He's a one-man band. Indeed he is. Yeah. This goes well with the snow falling outside, says Mike Gibson. Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, not that snow is falling outside in L.A. at this point. Marty Anderson turned me into an alcoholic. Don't do that. If you keep having too many birthdays, your liver might not survive, Hake. Yeah, don't drink. So, right on. Thank you guys again for depressing music, Hake. Messed up face emoji. Red Dirt Farm. It's supposed to be like between depressing and inspiring, kind of in that space, if you will. And love, emotional, fake love, you know, fallen state love. Dandruff, fallen, schemes for wreck. You talking about me? Okay. I think I'm caught up on the super chats, right? I should be fine. Just double check one more time real quick. And then we'll get into this. Yeah. Okay. All right. Social media mental health. I shake my head about it. This is from Hake News today. Social media is scapegoated for bad parents. Is what I say. It's what I said. Because, okay, the social media is evil. Yeah, the social media companies are not run by Christians, okay? And they're not run with ethicists, if you will. Ethicists? Dennis Prager is an ethicist. Dennis Prager is not on the board of these social media. He's not an advisor to these social media companies. Maybe Truth Social. I have some headlines and pictures and mess from these social media mess. Dozens of states sued Instagram's parent company, Meta, on Tuesday, yesterday. This headline reads, teens should be trained before entering the world of social media, says the APA, American Psychological Association. Didn't I have some report about the American Psychiatric Organization, but it's actually psychological organization, probably a typo / somebody not paying attention over at CNN from a few to several weeks ago. October 11th was Hake News. American Psychiatric Association on climate anxiety. That's right. They said, what did they say? Psychiatric. Quote, this is a flashback. These are not issues we can wait and resolve later. As a society, we must act now. Dennis P. Stolle, S-T-O-L-L-E, a senior director for American Psychiatric Association. I think he's really Psychological Association, commenting on a new report that revealed climate change can have lifelong impacts on young people's mental health. Extreme weather events and poor air quality can increase the risks of anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, aggression, cognitive impairment, and more. How about fear-mongering? Fear-mongering makes it worse, too. But anyway, dozens of states, fast forward to today, dozens of states yesterday sued Instagram's parent and Facebook's parent, but nobody uses Facebook anymore except for the boomers and Joel Friday, maybe, over and some of the Facebook crew. Shout out to the Facebook crew, you guys there? I saw Lisa, our resident health expert, was over there yesterday. Over addictive features, so to speak. You know, you're scrolling. You guys have all gone through it. You're scrolling. What else is next? You scroll some more. What else is next? You scroll some more. I'm like kind of miming it. It's just endless scrolling. I don't know if you can see all my notifications. Oh. Yeah, it's sort of addictive. Ooh, exciting. And then they also, what pulls people in is anger, fear, outrage, and then occasionally that feel-good stuff. Oh, and then like sexual content. And youth mental health harms. Yeah, I mean, it's not good for you. It's not good for anybody to be all into that mess too much, you know? It's fact. But duh, how about blame the parents, right? The parents shouldn't be all loosey-goosey on how much they let their children even have cell phones. I get that they don't have pay phones anymore, so you can't just use a quarter or call or collect, and for the number, call, collect, and say, can you pick me up? Trying to scam the collect call system. Can you pick me up? I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Maybe the Gen Xers do. Allegedly addictive features. In a federal lawsuit filed in California by 33 attorneys general, the states allege that Meta's designs, such as infinite news feeds and frequent notifications, contributed to a mental health crisis in the United States. Yeah, I mean, they're not helping, but people are weak. They never get to the root of the issue. They're just addressing, oh, you're making these symptoms worse, okay? But they never get to the root. Family, fathers, moderation, self-control, not catering to the egos and emotions of children and women and pushing men to be all emotional too. You know what I mean? The suit also accuses Meta of violating consumer protection, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. Oh, they have personal information of children under 13. Who cares? Don't they already? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've given up on the notion of privacy. Gen Z here, no idea what Hake is saying, says, come on, man. Hake has a lot of parenting advice. Mess up face emoji, cringing emoji, says Nugget Man. What? Whatever, man. I like blaming guns, says Tarsha. Hey, what's up, Tardia? Something like that. I refrained from saying jelly bean when I said, you know what I mean. Oh, let's see what this stuff says over here in this folder that Hassan is showing some of these screenshots here. Okay, the APA, we covered that. The lawsuit from Meta. Mother describes son's social media addiction that led to his death, she says. And that's what this, you see this candle that's lit inside of a jar, and the jar is illuminated by the candle, and then in the background is a picture of purportedly, I guess, her son, dark-haired, looks almost like Daniel's son from the original Karate Kid, maybe a little bit more grown up. But this son looks fit, healthy. How would social media addiction lead to his death? What? What? She's blaming that, but I wonder where his daddy was and what kind of a daddy he had and what kind of a mother this woman was. I'm not necessarily giving advice. I'm just criticizing the parents. How about that? I can criticize without giving... I can probably give advice. Okay, so what does this say? Meta has profited from children's pain by intentionally designing its platforms and manipulative features, very manipulative, that's true, that make children addicted to their platforms. Not addicted, they throw around that word a bit too much. Maybe, I don't know, my opinion. Oh my gosh, Letitia James! Letitia James, the black woman who talks with a white woman's voice. Clever, verbal IQ. You know those blacks, they like to rhyme. She's the Attorney General for New York, one of the states involved in this federal suit. So it's evil versus evil. The evil government, Letitia James is evil, and they're going after evil social media, unchristian social media, I will have you know. Or, Zeus is not a Christian, I don't think, or he doesn't identify with the Christian thing, but he would be better ethicist on terms of social media than these people, I think. Yeah, the boy might have committed suicide. The young man might have committed suicide. Oh, might have died by suicide. Forgive me for wording it unsensitively. I'm shaking my head. Social media companies, says Letitia James, including Meta, contributed to a national youth mental health crisis, and they must be held accountable, she says. You're contributing to a national youth mental health crisis, Letitia James, with your Trump derangement syndrome that you tout and suffer from and spread with your mess. What else do they say in this thing? This complaint reads, Meta's design choices and practices take advantage of and contribute to young users' susceptibility to addiction. They exploit psychological vulnerabilities of young users through their false promise that meaningful social connection lies in the next story. What's next? Or next image or video. And then ignoring the next piece of social content could lead to social isolation. Oh, you don't want to miss out, kids. Don't fall for that, kids. You're better off the more you do without. Children listening to Hake. I'm chuckling because Mr. Madman in the chat says, Hake has only watched the Karate Kid movie, the one with Will Smith's daughter in it. That's his son, right? Is that the son who turned into a... No, I don't know. You have me confused. He did a cool backflip. And that was Kung Fu, because that was with Jackie Chan. That was not even Japanese or karate. And then Jackie Chan's like, it's a movie. Shout out to Jackie Chan. But Mr. Miyagi is right for Karate Kid. What else? The APA. You showed the APA one, the American Psychological Association. Teens should be trained before entering the world of social media. New social media law in Utah. Age must be verified for Utah residents. Minors need consent, parental consent, I guess, to join the social media platforms. Imposes curfews on anyone under 18. Time to get it. The American Psychological Association calling for teens to undergo training. Social media is neither inherently harmful nor beneficial to our youth, says Dr. Thema Bryant, APA's president. Sounds like a woman, but I'm not sure. Just as we require young people to be trained in order to get a driver's license, our youth, there's that word, our youth. JLP criticizes the notion that there are children. No, it's the children of the father and mother on loan from God himself. They're not even the fathers and the mothers, really. They call it FOMO, fear of missing out, says Carver531. Yeah. Greed. It's greed, too. Voraciousness. Don't be so voracious, children. Jackie Chan is greater than Jackie Cheung. Well, that's a matter of opinion. Depends at what? At karate? John Frederick? Distracted by the chat. Mr. Miyagi is Hake's number 6th favorite Jew. No, my number 6 is, I forgot all about, that guy from Santa Monica. Santa Monica HS, Jewish, conservative, NRA, Trump. I don't know if this is too many details. Stephen Miller. That bald guy, he's in his 30s, probably married now. Jewish, strong-willed, pretty based on like the immigration stuff, pro-Trump. He's my number 6 favorite Jew ahead of Mr. Miyagi. Anyway, let's go. Let's continue. Adam Sandler. Oh, yeah, Adam Sandler's funny. Just because of that Hanukkah song. And doesn't Big Bear like Adam Sandler, or am I wrong? Does Big Bear like Adam Sandler, you guys who follow Owen Benjamin? Owen Benjamin likes him. I like him. Even though I wasn't that into, like, Happy Gilmore. Let's see. Thelma Bryant says, we require young people to be trained in order to get a driver license. Young youth need to be instruction on the safe and healthy use of social media. They want to review scientific literature on social media use and formulate recommendations for healthy adolescent use per APA news release. I think that they're still trying to, I think they're trying to stay relevant. You know, these scientists, they want to be relevant. They want to be in the main media. They get in the media, they get attention. They get attention, they may get funding, money. Because what do they bring of value? Not always much. Sometimes they artificially create stuff. Many scientists are politicians. And by the way, psychology is hardly a science. Or is it? I don't know. I think that it's a suspect science. It's a communist version of science, not Christian. Imposing limitations, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes there's content that promotes self-harm. Show this number 3. APA social media 3. Disorder, look at all these children with or young people of various skin tones, hands, holding phones, all huddled together. This is a picture. Social media isn't necessarily all bad, especially if it's used for healthy socialization. But there's content that promotes self-harm, eating disorder behavior, discrimination. Oh, come on. Discrimination is good. Hate. That's all you promote is hate. Black Lives Matter. Social media promotes Black Lives Matter. They promote the LGBT. They promote the women ego identity stuff, girl power type stuff. And the S word, sex, and wars, political fighting, hatred of Trump. Go vote. Make sure you're voting against Trump is the subtext that's not said. Subtext, is that, am I using that term correctly? That's what social media promotes. Black Lives Matter, Me Too, Ukraine. They don't promote the Israel thing as much as they promote the Ukraine thing. Everybody doesn't have Israel flags. They all had Ukraine flags. It's because there's a mix between pro-Israel hate-filled people and pro-Palestine hate-filled people. It's controversial. Interesting, huh? Cyberbullying. I laugh and mock it, but people really allegedly commit suicide. But I don't think it's over that. Or stuff that's primarily beauty-focused. This news release from APA. They recommend blah, 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 limitations, chronic lack of sleep, or lack of physical activity. Oh, the APA said there's a lack of sufficient research. See, they want money. There's a lack of sufficient research into social media use of youth from racial, ethnic, sexual, gender, socioeconomic, which is a communist buzzword, or differently abled, meaning handicapped, populations, and or youth with chronic developmental or health conditions. The APA also called for more investment in research funding to access more data. When it doesn't take research to promote common sense, self-discipline, parents putting this hammer down on your children's phone use and stuff like that. Given the research available, the APA cannot say if social media is helpful or harmful to young people, especially considering both the risks of harmful content and the rewards of healthy socialization. There's this book out by Lisa Damour, PhD, New York Times bestselling author. The emotional lives of teenagers, raising connected, capable, and compassionate. Is that alliteration when you use the same show? Emotional Teens, book 2 there, Hassan. Emotional Teens book. Connected, capable, and compassionate adolescents. And it has a bunch of teens. Only 1 out of 4 of these teens, adolescents, is white, by the way. I take umbrage, to steal a word from CSAL. What else does this say? Urgently needed guide to help parents understand teenagers' intense and often fraught emotional lives. I hated this when they talked about this stuff. This woman writes about this stuff. They talked about this stuff when I was in what we called junior high, 7th, 8th grade. Oh, you're going to go through a rebellious stage. You're going to go through an emotional stage. They tell you what you're going to go through, these people, and then they tell you how to deal with it. Don't tell me what I'm going to go through or how I'm going to deal with it or how I should deal with it. In school, that's not what school is for. It makes me want to spit. Reminds me of in 4th grade, they promoted the notion of self-esteem in textbooks. Mama spirit. And they're promoting so-called sex ed. Just taking away the natural discovery of young people by helicopter parenting by way of the education system. You know what helicopter parenting is? When you hover around them and don't let them hurt themselves and don't let them have their freedom because you don't want them to fall. That's what the mama spirit evil government and teachers are doing now with pushing so-called sex ed. And I get that there's some of these gals who don't know how their bodies function and stuff like that. And so they think that sex ed is the answer, but I am leery of their judgment. I get that I don't know much, but I'm still leery of their judgment. I'm squinting my eyes because I'm leery. Why teens and adults need to understand that mental health isn't about feeling good, but about having feelings that fit the moment, even if those feelings are unwanted or painful, says this woman who makes me want to cringe and spit. Lisa Damour, PhD, of Random House Publishing. Anyway, I think I've gotten the gist across, right? Yeah. Burned out nurses. I got to use all my buzzwords that I put into my title. I should interview a former male nurse. I think he's a former male nurse. Maybe he's a present-day male nurse. It sounds so bad when I say male nurse, huh? Sounds like I'm almost degrading, to me, and I kind of am, men who go into nursing. Because nurse sounds mama or woman or girl. Noises. You know, the Three Stooges, that black and white show with the unchristian funny comedian guys, Curly Moe and Larry. And Shemp sometimes, I didn't like him. Oh boy, nurses. And then it turned out to be men being nurses. Oh, they thought that they were going to be pretty nurses. Because people in general were not fat back in the day, by the way. But anyway, sometimes male nurses more capable, strong anyway, whatever. And even keeled. They can deal with stress. They don't break down emotionally in a pressure situation. You know, some gals are headstrong, I guess. That might not be the right term. I mentioned this from Hake News today. This CDC woman, not the head director, but there's another woman who's a leader person. Oh, you can turn up the thermostat 1 degree, fellas out there. Turn up the thermostat 1 degree. I'm actually getting kind of cool in here. Biden and these women, thank you, man. I know Trump does it too. Rolling my eyes. These women in charge, they got rid of the men in the hospital, so-called healthcare industry, so-called medical industry, and they got rid of the independent thinkers. They thinned the herd of workers, people who actually work, and some of the best workers, I bet you they got rid of in the medical world. I told you about this, I think he was a Ukrainian who called into my show years back. I've told this story many times. He was a nurse, a male nurse, I think. And then around 2008, when Obama was coming in, they started to impose this flu shot. Get your flu shot. If you're a nurse, if you work in the hospital, you have to get your flu shot, lest you get a mild flu and you come in and you spread it to these patients who are already vulnerable and at risk because they're on the verge of death or whatever. So you have to get your flu shot. I'm not for that. And so he quit and he became a trucker. Well, good for you, man. But I bet you there's many such cases of people who've left various industries over the vax mandate, especially with the China virus, you know? They've mandated the China virus vax, mandate the flu shot. They got rid of men, and they're propping up women in edu-mommification, higher education, nursing, and all that stuff, and POCs. So they got rid of some of the best, I think, is what my suspicion is, my conspiracy theory, if you will, or my corrupt culture theory. Corrupt culture within this industry. And it's an industry, all right? CNN shares this quote, Commie Nonsense Network. I mentioned this in Hake News. While usually health workers care diligently for others in their time of need, it is now our nation's health workers who are suffering, and we must act. Government always trying to act like they should need to act. And that's a quote from CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Chief Medical Officer Deborah Houry, D-E-B-R-A, no H, Houry, H-O-U-R-Y. She issued a statement after a new report from the agencies of CDC that found nearly half of U.S. healthcare workers, quote unquote, reported feeling burned out in 2022. And I've mentioned this before. I think in an after party after one of my modern day debate episodes, you know, I've appeared on Modern Day Debate. And there's this guy who, he's with Atheist Edge, or he started the Atheist Edge channel and Factitionalist Network. I'm blanking on his name. If you go to thehakereport.com/appearances, I may be able to dig up his name. Because he hasn't moderated my debates before. I mean, maybe this year, but in prior instances, he did. Maybe it was, I don't know. Let's see. Because I want to pull up his name. I mean, Atheist Edge is his channel. Kaz, guest moderator for and host for Modern Day Debate, sitting in for James Coons. Kaz, I think he told me that burnout is real because he worked or has worked or works or something in the so-called health industry. And so the CDC says half, using nationwide data between 2018 and 2022. New report, nearly half of so-called health workers reported feeling burned out in 2022, up from under a third 4 years prior. Wow. The mainstream media has for years, since I was producer of the Jesse Lee Peterson show like 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago I was producer. And I remember them pushing the flu shot and mainstream media talking about, oh, the hospitals get overwhelmed every year with the flu season. Hospitals get overwhelmed and they have to fill up the parking lots with tents and Get your flu shot. And some people have a bad reaction to the flu shot, but sometimes they don't. Mike Gibson says, what a bunch of weenies. Yeah, that's my outside looking in sort of take. You know, these gals, I've seen nurses, they like to party. But they're smart. They put IVs with water so that they recover and they don't have a hangover after drinking. I disavow that. These party animal female nurses, and then they do their TikTok dances. Some of them do the TikTok dances. And anyway, I think that some of this stuff is a problem of their own making. Or a symptom, really, of a problem. Weak society, focus on emotions, women working so much when they shouldn't necessarily be working so much, you know. Sometimes there's a time for women to work a lot, but they're promoting that, getting rid of the men from that field because men can handle it better, you know. Too much caffeine will add to burnout a lot, says Jim Bro Slice. Interesting point. Yeah, I remember when I was having rock stars like every day, and I was kind of fat. Not kind of. I was pretty fat. I would get tired at 4 p.m. So, yeah, I bet that does. It kind of rakes strips your gears or whatever. So, a lot of it is self-sabotage, and it's the government sabotage, the mama spirit, scared woman-led CDC, woman-led CDC. Trump at least, well, I can't really say Trump at least, but Biden's female picks for these, is Biden the one putting these women in charge of different positions inside of the CDC and stuff? And they're not even Christians. I'm shaking my head because I'm thinking about American Anchor Baby yesterday showed that this woman-led Republican, Sarah Sanders, maiden name Huckabee. She turned that into her middle name because she's married. Sarah Sanders, daughter to Mike Huckabee, this Christian, former governor of Arkansas. And she has all these women on this stage, on this picture that American Anchor Baby showed yesterday on his show. And they're like shutting down, banning woke words. And it's like too many women. The only place I like to see a lot of women is at the Women's Forum at Bond. The ladies seeking the truth, some of them. Nice. One or two, you know, right? So, burnout. Trump's raging. Kids' mental health. And they're targeting. What are you going to do? You're not going to do anything good, CDC? Anyway, you guys can call in 1-888-775-3773. Let's talk about some old news, the speaker fight. I have this clip 22 from Western Lensman. They were going to promote this guy to be speaker, but he bowed out already, so it's old news. But this might be somewhat interesting. U.S. House Speaker race, Western Lensman posted this on X. Tom Emmer was a major proponent of eliminating the Electoral College and implementing a national popular vote. Wow. What a dirtbag. Because you can't say the S word anymore. You know, scum. The Soros-backed National Popular Vote, NPV, campaign would allow states to circumvent the Electoral College by choosing their electors based on the National Popular Vote, not the candidate with the most votes in their state. Wow, there's just subverting the states. That's what they did with the senators. Senators used to be not voted on by we the people. It used to be voted on by the representatives or the legislature of each state. The legislature of the state would elect the senator for the state. Did you know that? So now the senators are just like a glorified representative, House of Representative person. Did you know that? Congressman. And that's what they're trying to do with this thing. They're just polluting our thing with democracy. We don't want democracy. Democracy's evil. I'm hamming it up with this drama. Maybe this is probably grating on some people's ears. Let me just go ahead and play this clip. Minute 10 seconds of, this is Tom Emmer, who's not even relevant because he's not, George Soros is not a Christian, by the way. And he's not even for the best of the Jews. He's not even for my, is he my fourth favorite Jew? Bibi Netanyahu? Bibi Netanyahu is why we hate George Soros, we conservative normies. Anyway, here's a minute, 10 seconds on Tom Emmer. He's a representative out of somewhere. Here it is.
And the first misconception about national popular vote is that that this proposal is somehow going against what the founding fathers intended, or against the very language of the Constitution. And it is a misconception. What national popular vote provides is that each state is allowed to determine how to award its electors. This proposal would allow the state of Pennsylvania and my state of Minnesota to say, we are going to award our electors to the candidate for president that gets the highest number of popular votes across the country.
Article 2, Section 1. It is constitutional. We're not changing the Constitution. If you respect states' rights, if you truly do believe in them, then you respect the states' rights to determine however they want to award their electors.
I've had the argument made to me, Tom, as a conservative, why would you ever want to support something like national popular vote? All they'd have to do is focus their campaigns on the large urban centers. Last time I checked, the top 50 cities in this country, most populated, dense urban areas, make up less than 20% of the popular vote.
Popular vote. Be quiet, man. So that's him. By the way, I have Laura Loomer, based Laura Loomer. Okay, hit and miss Laura Loomer. Mostly miss Laura Loomer. Shout out to Laura Loomer. Oh, I forgot to share some replies to Pakman. Maybe I'll get to that. Do I have anything on Emmer? Emmer, speaker fight. Laura Loomer. Never mind. Who cares? I'll skip that. Do you want to talk about David Pakman again real quick, guys? Well, too bad I am. You know, I showed that David Pakman thing pretending that Biden is better for the world, better for the Palestinian people and humanitarian stuff than Trump. People said, you're the supreme clown. That's a super low bar. No, I think that this person is saying, oh, he's better than Trump. That's a low bar. I think that Trump is a high bar. So you're a low bar. But it is a low bar in that, oh, Biden is doing a little bit of damage control after he let the world go out of control. That's a low bar. You know, because I think the U.S. president has an influence on the world either going more out of control or less out of control. And Trump had the world less out of control. He didn't have a Ukraine war. He didn't have Israel-Hamas war. He wasn't threatening Iran, even though he loves Bibi and was very pro-Israel. I heard that Israel and Bibi, who may be a wicked man according to Nikki from Texas, she believes that. He may not be a Christian. Bibi Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel. He might not. I don't know. Okay, so but he may want America to go to war with Iran because Iran threatens Israel's existence supposedly a lot. The Ayatollah, whatever that is, maybe not. But Trump wasn't threatening Iran. He got us out of that dumb Iran nuclear deal, but he was not threatening war with Iran. And I feel like the U.S. under evil Biden is threatening war with Iran. That's what I heard. Not that I know or care much about it, but Trump had the world more stable. Anyway, somebody made the point, if Trump would have still been in office, none of this would have happened. Go to the next one. Number 2, Pakman replies number 2. U.S.'s priorities. U.S. is considering $100 billion in funding that would include defense assistance for Ukraine and Israel. Yup. China's priorities, $100+ billion for infrastructure projects. They're communist. Infrastructure is a communist buzzword. And livelihood programs under the Belt and Road Initiative. And you see an awesome picture of a train, whereas you see a weapon of destruction with an awesome gun the U.S. is giving to Israel or Ukraine. No wars, no new wars anyway under Trump. And he was wrapping up the Afghanistan, and his pullout of Afghanistan would have been, his game would have been much better than Biden. What else? What else? You Zionist pig, somebody calls him. Ah. Caitlin, number 4, replies number 4. Israel is committing a genocide. Are they? I think I saw a clip of this bald-haired. Show this one. Number 4, Hassan. Replies number 4. Israel committing a genocide. Is that true? On who? On whom? The whites? Some of the liberal. Trump talked about infrastructure. Yeah, he did. He's a Christian communist. Zionist is an endearing term. I don't know. They might be. I don't know. But there are some solid people who say that Israel's doing wrong, or has been for many decades anyway, or some years, been doing wrong to the Palestinians. That may be true. I'm not going to take that away from you. I don't know. I think it takes 2 to tango. You want to fight about it? Bald-haired. Yeah, bald-haired. Oh, yeah, there was this bald-haired guy who was saying genocide. He was like a communist, I think, for revolution, drinking coffee. And I think I saw him on American Anchor Baby saying maybe some true things. But I saw him also on another clip on like Twitter talking about Israel doing a genocide, and it's laid out in their constitution of genociding. But that's his word for it. That's his interpretation of what they're doing. Occupying the area, protecting themselves, and taking an offensive stance against the Palestinians who have a stance against them. And I say genocide is a liberal word. And it's an emotional word. And that's that. I know that people say white genocide, and I disavow that just for the sake of my channel, but there's a lot of true statements that the people who say white genocide do say. They make great points. I disavow them for the sake of my channel, though, but even that is, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's victimhood stuff. You know what I mean? That's what I say. Speaking of American Anchor Baby, I was looking at this. I looked up dating on Wikipedia. Anchor Baby had me Wikipediaing dating. Because Hake doesn't know anything, so he has to go to Wikipedia for everything, including dating. So let me give you guys dating advice after I read up about it on Wikipedia. And then maybe I'll get to calls. We'll see. I hope to. So I have some screenshots, I think. Dating? Yeah, dating-Wikipedia. I had to censor this a lot. The opening paragraph of dating Wikipedia, citation needed. on the fact, the reality that the S word, sex out of wedlock, was taboo. That's what caught my eye about this situation. It's the dating Wikipedia citation. Taboo sex wedlock. That's the main one I want to show. Oh, nasty. Ooh. I censor with like red squares of, okay, stay here. This was funny. Go back to that one. So I Googled dating too. No, I might have braved it. I might have braved it as opposed to Googling. And I see this picture of these two people kissing. And I censored their lips out. And I censored the hand on the small of the back of that gal. And I censored the smile from the guy because I don't like guys smiling. I know I smile too much. And the guy's also holding hands with the girls. They're sitting across from each other at a little table at a date. And he's smiling. I watched this one show, and this one show, it flashes back to when this guy was happy in a dating type of relationship with a gal, or he was like coming on to her, and he's like, oh, smiling. I don't like you smiling. Come on, be a man. Shit, terrible. Men, so weak for these gals. Be tougher. And they use partner. Most often, dating is a stage of romantic relationships, most often with the intention of evaluating each other's suitability for a partner. There's that liberal word that the gays brought in. JLP made that point. Somebody did a whole segment. Some other podcast did a whole segment on JLP, his TikTok videos. And they agreed. Some of them were kind of older school. These podcast hosts were kind of older school, a man and a woman. And the woman is like, he's right. We didn't really hear about the word partner. That was like a gay word. It was like a dog whistle to indicate that, oh, I'm gay, I'm a partner. You know, and now the straights are using that word. Okay, so go to the dating Wikipedia citation needed taboo sex wedlock screenshot. If you see it there. It's this whole paragraph with various... No, not that one. I'm going to skip over... That's the one. This is the whole point of me covering this story. And then I'll hopefully cut it short. So, I censor the S word. And the word intimate. Ugh. And they use partner. So dating is Wikipedia is a liberal website. They rely on the liberal media only. Okay? And liberal, did Hake actually censor the smile? Not the woman's smile. The woman can smile, but the man shouldn't be smiling like that big like that. Real men don't smile too much. It's tarja. What's up? Tarja. Okay, you see this little section that's subtly grayed. There's a subtle gray area up here where it starts out with although taboo. And it continues, and there's this subtle gray rectangle around this section. And at the end of it, it says, citation needed in small print. And it's like a footnote type of thing. Although taboo across most of the world for much of history, citation needed, premarital S-word, sex, has become increasingly common within the last century, beginning with the onset of the S-word sexual revolution, which was the 60s, right? I guess. Which was not Christian, by the way. Across the greater number of portrayals in film, television, music, S-word within dating has become increasingly accepted as a natural progress of a relationship. So, the S-word out of wedlock was taboo across most of the world for much of history, and they need a citation, bro, and they can't fill that citation. I wonder if we could look that up and cite the source handily, or if the liberals don't want you to know that. I wonder. Source, bro? Wikipedia source broed that person. Frederick in Los Angeles, California. Did I finish my topic on that, I guess? Frederick, what do you I know you have another comment on this, on something else, but what do you say about this Wikipedia sex out of wedlock thing? Not knowing, you're a historian, you're a pharaoh, you know about religion and history. In your religion, was sex out of wedlock taboo for most of history?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't taboo at all.
Oh, really? So then the Christians did come up with our own thing a little bit, because we say no sex before marriage, no fornication. That all pornea, Jesus said all pornea, which is all sexual immorality, blah, 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 something bad. So we didn't completely rip off your fake religion.
Because y'all was marrying off 13 and 14-year-old girls to grown men, and y'all thought that was cool. I mean, no, we let y'all have that. Y'all wasn't even marrying grown women at the time y'all was marrying now. Y'all had arranged marriages, too, for money. If he had... No, don't get me into this. I'm talking about Antonio.
I know. I'll let you talk about that briefly, but I just wanted to bump up his... I think he bumped up his volume. But, okay, so you're pointing out other things that you think are wrong, but women, young women, I don't know. You're pointing out other things that are wrong, but to distract from the fact that sex out of wedlock is wrong and misguided.
No,
and a setup for
marriage. Marriage didn't come along to after humanity had to evolve to keep itself alive. You know,
we're talking about history. We're talking about history, buddy. History. Hello.
We're talking about mankind. Anthropology.
You don't know anything about that. None of that was written down. History is the history of life as was written down, whether it was falsely written down,
talk about one history,
whether it was true history or fake history, because we have true news and fake news. I get it. But you're pretending that stuff that wasn't written down was totally different. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're just making assertions.
I think God put the design in man to be attracted to women and to multiply. We know what to do with no laws or having to be told that you need to be married by another man to have sex to, raise a family and be animals don't get married. Nobody ever in a human, we're mammals. You come down, we're humans. We're all creatures of God. So if you want to act like we need papers to whatever, you do your thing.
All right, let's get to your topic. Go ahead.
Yeah. The UN chief did some remarks, Antonio Guterres or whatever his name is, and Israel wants him to resign because he says Israel been suffocating Palestine for 56 years with their occupation and stuff. He's making legitimate remarks, and they want him to step down, resign. The United States, Biden's behind them, vetoed the whole thing that they're trying to do. What are we going to? We're trying to, they be mad, he's throwing a tantrum, now they want to go against the UN, too. They can't have their own thoughts. All thoughts are lies.
I kind of tuned you out. I apologize.
Oh, you always do that. You don't know how to, because you be trying to... You're trying to download. I talk faster than your modem. So, yeah, you didn't tune me out. You was processing. I understand.
No, I literally tuned you out. I was working on something else. It's rude of me.
I'm going to call the anchor baby with this then.
Okay.
The anchor baby's real, and he's black, and he knows what's really going on in America. How about that? Because you done tuned out 4 guests in the last 3 days, and you don't even act like you want a show, Hank.
What makes you say that?
You wear the same shirt every Thursday, and then you skip Tuesday and wear the same shirt every Wednesday. You can't do that, Hank.
You don't know me.
Get rid of the state feel. Spend your money on your wardrobe. You gotta.
What does that have to do with wanting a show or not? I'm pretty good about not wearing the same shirt until I don't know, mostly.
No, you don't know. You don't know.
Whatever.
You don't know.
But that has.
I try to find my video that I talked to you, and I remember the shirt you had
I'm not
on.
a fan of. I'll
And
tell you one
it's not even
thing.
the same conversation I was looking for, but it's for me on there with you with the same shirt on. You're making it hard for me.
Okay. I'm remiss. I'm a little distracted because I got to get to the dentist.
Oh my God! Don't get to the dentist. Listen,
I'll tell you one thing. I don't like Antonio Guterres. There's no I. Otherwise it would be Antonio Gutierrez, but it's Guterres. I'm not a fan of that guy. He's a lame-o.
Lame-o.
Yeah.
That's your opinion of him.
No. Yeah. It's my opinion of him. He kisses up to the women. He's lame.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you, Frederick. In Los Angeles.
Back tomorrow.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my bag. I hung up on him. And I really didn't mean to be rude. Man, I appreciate you. I just don't show it very well. You know, Jackie Chan did singing as well before his movies. Yeah, I did know that over on Rumble. What else? There's a coffee, according to Spoiler Alert. There's another coffee. Spoiler Alert bought a coffee. If the social media companies and their controllers, who are not Christian, didn't want this to happen, then it wouldn't be happening. They want this and probably have new laws already prepared for the legislature. Yeah, I mean, they create the problem and these same people swoop in with their false solutions that create more problems or symptoms, really. It's a mess. Not the one donated on Streamlabs. Hey, do you believe your show is funny or entertaining? Informative, maybe, but had your audience grown over the years, or have you had less live viewers over time? Less over time lately, especially with, well, I don't know, I'm on Rumble, so it's hard to tell. I'm on more platforms than ever. But yeah, I mean, there's various reasons that some have fallen away. Let's see, 34 watching, 154. I have fewer over time because I was getting like 300 viewers. Now I'm like 200. So, yeah, less over time for sure. But whatever, I keep on plugging. Let's see. Funny or entertaining? Informative, maybe. Interesting, super chat, not the one. Don't know. I gotta go, though. It's time for some music. This is Matilda the Gorilla by Mary Rice Hopkins. Enjoy, guys, and adios, America. Bye. A pet gorilla, and her name it wasn't Matilda.
Matilda loved to sing songs every day, and this is what Matilda the gorilla would say. Ah ooh 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 ah ah ah. Ah ooh 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 ah ah ah. Ah ooh 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 ah ah ah. Ah ooh 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 ah ah ah.
Everybody.
So we'd go strolling through the park. You know the people would laugh and the
Dogs would bark.
They never understood a word Matilda would sing, but Matilda was a doing her gorilla thing. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. So finally the circus man came along and he said, Matilda, I know where you belong. We'll put you in the circus to sing your songs, and we'll be monkeying around all day long. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah.
Everybody. So good.
Matilda was as happy as can be. She'd eat her bananas and swing from the trees. Now with the frogs, you would see the singing Matilda family. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Everybody sing. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ah, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Adios, America. Bye.